So we want to unpause. May 15th is when the pause regulations expire statewide. I will extend them in many parts of the state. But in some parts of the state, some regions, you could make the case that we should unpause on May 15th. But you have to be smart about it. We all have to be smart about it. As we said, there is no light switch where you flick a switch and everybody goes back to doing what they're doing. We have to take these circumstances into consideration. We have to learn the lessons. We have to move forward, and we have to be smart, because if you are not smart, you will see that infection rate go right back to where it was. We'll be right back to where we were 58 days ago, and nobody wants to do that. So what I want to say to my regional colleagues is be smart. Well, we want to reopen. Well, have you thought through reopening? And we have a couple of weeks, but start thinking through what it means to reopen. First question is, do we meet the CDC guidelines that say you reopen when you've seen a decline in numbers for 14 days? Second, we talked about, on the reopening, bringing back construction and manufacturing as the first two industries. But how do you bring them back? And what precautions are going to be in place? What precautions do you want those businesses to institute when they start? And part of this is on business. You know your business. I don't know your business. I don't know how you do business. How do you incorporate into how you do your business and where you do your business the precautions that we want to take going forward? How do you do social distancing? How do you do monitoring? Are you going to take the temperature of people who walk in the door, et cetera? And that's for government, but it's also a question for government, for business. Healthcare capacity. You want to reopen a region. What is the healthcare capacity in that region? How many beds will you have available if that number goes up? How many ICU beds will you have available? And are you contemplating what's going to happen when the flu season kicks in September, where we could potentially now be dealing with COVID cases on top of flu cases? You have to test for both and possibly have hospital capacity for both. Do we have testing in place? And is testing ready to go? Because testing is one of the main monitors, right? Do we have a tracing system in place? We all talk about testing, tracing, isolating. That has to be in place. Test people, you then trace the contacts, you find the positive people, and you isolate them. But you need a tracing system. And this is something we've never done before, right? So that system has to be in place. When we isolate people, where do they go? Isolation, once you find the person who's positive, basically you can say to the person, look, you can go home, but then you run the risk of infecting those people in your house, or we could put you in an isolation facility. We have a hotel, et cetera, that we can put you in for 2 weeks. But you have to locate those facilities first. We have to coordinate as a region. There is no one county in a region, it's a region. And these are the Regional Economic Development Council regions that have worked together. But we have to coordinate that region. So everybody in that region has to have the same policy when it comes to schools, when it comes to transportation, when it comes to testing, when it comes to tracing. And that region's plan has to fit in to our overall multi-state plan. No attractive nuisances. Attractive nuisance is a legal concept where you have a potentially dangerous situation that actually attracts people, normally children, to it. We can't open an attraction that might bring many people from outside the region and then overwhelm people in that region. You have a lot of pent-up demand. And we have seen this before, where when we're not coordinated, we have New York people going to Connecticut because Connecticut has parks or waterside access that's open. We don't want to create a situation where people flood an area because they're looking for something to do. And then we need a regional control room, I call it. We have to be monitoring what happens when we start to reopen. And that entire region has to have a control room function where we're watching what's happening.
Hey there, I'm Chris Hayes from MSNBC. Thanks for watching MSNBC on YouTube. If you want to keep up to date with the videos we're putting out, you can click subscribe just below me or click over on this list to see lots of other great videos.